Okay. Would you sponsor new potential legislation eliminating county ad valorem tax in favor of a new 1% transit sales tax being championed by Senator Latvala?
I actually have the local bill file that talks a little bit about that. It just says, should that ever occur, PSTA can't do both. If you're going to live off I just want to make sure if it passes, PSTA's got to live off that sales tax. They don't get another nickel of ad valorem tax. You can't have both ways, because I'm afraid unless somebody addresses that, they'll continue to try to tax each of us on our property and use that sales tax revenue, and that's double dipping, and we don't do that. So I just want to make sure, I don't think that'll pass, by the way. The sales tax initiative, I don't think, it failed in Hillsborough County. I have no doubt it will fail in Pinellas County. What
would you say if that excess were to be used for light rail in Pinellas County?
The excess of what?
The sales tax? Doubling of the revenue that is generated from the 1% versus the ad valorem.
A decision to be made by the transportation. The MPO here would probably have to lead that. I would not be opposed to them studying that. The day's going to come eventually where we're going to reach critical mass. We're very close now. And our highway transport, we cannot 10-lane every street in Pinellas County. We can't do it. There will be a day, and most of us will not be here. Some of you will be here, but most of us will not. I won't be here, I'll say that. But there'll be a day down the road that your kids and grandkids are going to have to deal with alternative transportation initiatives.
That the government pays for, or private?
I don't mind if private sector builds it, operates it. If the government's going to do it, it ought to be self-sustaining. It's not anywhere else in the country, so that
or the world.
But that's
it isn't Jersey, New York.
No, but if you look at a major city, and we're not one yet, but you go to, all of us have been to major cities where subway or metro or something. It would be hard for me to imagine what that scenario would be like if there was no mass transit system in place, that with people trying to get to and from work via car. It would be a torture. You'd spend more hours traveling than you would working. So I just think as we continue to grow, and Florida's going to continue to grow, that's going to be an issue down the road that somebody's going to have to deal with. I only got 3 years left, so it's not going to happen in my time.
Rail. The next question is actually about rail. Will you reject any form of tax designated for any type of new passenger rail?
Yes. I don't think we'll see passenger rail initiative in this state for quite a while now.
That takes into effect the light rail in Pinellas County.
For quite a while. The only good thing about doing it in a more smaller area is there's already enough infrastructure. You already own the right-of-ways, and there's already track in place. That makes it much less expensive to build and operate than if you had to like start from scratch. But there's no funding for that, even at this level, and nobody's going to be successful in trying to get a funding source passed. Now, if some European country wants to come in here and spend $5 billion and do it, let them make a proposal.
Okay. Will you support drilling in the Gulf, and under what conditions?
I would support drilling in the Gulf if it's more than 10 miles offshore. If it's 3 to 10 miles, I opposed it when it came to the Florida House. I would oppose it if it comes up again. Our industry is tourism. Our beaches are our livelihood in this county. That's the only smokestack we have. And I don't see that there's any good in seeing a drilling rig from the beaches of this community when people come from all over the world here. Today there's over 12 million acres in the Gulf of Mexico leased today that have not had one well drilled in them. There's plenty of Gulf of Mexico out there to drill for oil. The fact that they're not drilling, I don't know what the reason, but
They can't get permits.
Federal government.
They can get permits. They just don't want to spend the money. I just think that we only can control 3 to 10 miles. The state, anything above 10 miles is a federal issue. I'm just going to fight it being inside 10 miles.
Okay. Florida is now a sanctuary state for illegals as compared to other surrounding states due to failure on immigration legislation in 2011 session. The U.S. Supreme Court recently endorsed a separate Arizona law requiring employers to use E-Verify. The court also ruled that Arizona could suspend or revoke business licenses of companies that knowingly hire illegal immigrants. In tackling illegal immigration in the 2012 session, will you support mandatory E-Verify for all Florida employers, hopefully from the first employee, enforcement at the street level by law officers, and enforcement in our schools? What is your stand on immigration with teeth?
Okay, good question. The answer to most of those is yes, I will. And last year in the House, Representative Will Snyder from Martin County filed our major immigration bill. He's a former police officer, now running for sheriff in Martin County. Good guy. He filed our big bill, and I was the first co-sponsor on his bill. And part of it, the majority of his bill was just what you said. E-Verify, the ability for calls to stop and check. You know, we're different than Arizona. We're different in a lot of other states. Arizona's got a land border basically with another country. Our borders are called ports. And they're the most important thing that we have on our borders. If someone wanted to attack this country, the way to do it, this state, the way to do it would be through our ports, because it'd be easy today. And we don't have a system in place to stop that from happening, because all those containers that get offloaded and sit on the dock, we don't know what's in those. It would be easy to attack this state via our ports. So I think, I'm a believer of this. If you want to be a citizen of this country, there's a way to do it. You do that, we welcome you with open arms. If you're here illegally, we'll send you home. We'll pay for your one-way ticket home. Don't come back. And there's no more ifs.
All right.
That was the last question.
That's 12 already. I didn't take near as much time as Frisch.
So you could have closing remarks?